IDEC started in 1968, and we were started by a bunch of kids who lived in the ID. And most of it was started because we saw there wasn't very much services around the area for people who were sick or injured on the streets. And part of that was because at that time there was none of the conveniences that we are used to now, such as using a payphone without a coin, calling 911, which did not exist. Medic 1 was not started yet, and CPR was pretty much not known. And the police officers, for the most part in our district, were all being paid off by the different gambling joints and did very little police work. So we started patrolling the streets to see what was needed. And of all the things that we saw the most of, it was a lot of injured people on the street that weren't being treated. So we felt that this is what we should emphasize on, is treating the sick and injured residents and people in the district. Well, myself, Dean Wong, and several others here all grew up in the district, had extended families or families in the ID. And part of us being down here was because of our families working or living in the International District. And that's what pretty much kept us in the area and our interests up. And having the extended families, all the members here were able to walk up and down the streets and have uncles or aunts working in almost every block down here. And knowing the business people, the people in the family associations, the tongs, or a lot of our relatives. So it was easier for us to get along with most of the business people and family associations in the district. So a lot of them started to call upon us to do things for them, seeing us in the ID all the time. Well, IDEC was started up by kids, and they continue to be the focus point of the center. We like to train kids who live in the district or frequent the area a lot about community services. And if they see here is what they want to get into, then we train them how to do our work here. Otherwise, we funnel them out to another agency or some other interests that they may have. But working at the center here with the kids, we found this is one of the best training grounds to have for kids to keep them out of trouble, because they see trouble up front all the time. And unlike a lot of other agencies which take kids off the streets, what we do is we take kids off the streets, give them training and some knowledge, and then put it back on. So, because we found they're the best people to help folks who are on the street, because they know how to deal with problems that come up at a very young age. Growing up in any ghetto is hard, but growing up in an ethnic ghetto is pretty tough. With myself and some of the older people who were at the center, we had a really tough time growing up down here. And a lot of it was directly of racism and poverty. Most everybody that we deal with on the streets are either homeless or living in poverty conditions at that time. A lot of the hotels and apartments down here were very run down. We're talking about places that didn't have front doors. You may or may not have had lighting in your hallways. You had no hot water. The cold water was rust water. There was a lot of rodents around your room. It was freezing in the wintertime or boiling in the summertime. And you can be living by a lot of people who had drug problems or alcoholic problems. And it was pretty tough growing up like that. The kids had nowhere to play except on the streets. And that became a learning ground for a lot of them. And unfortunately, a lot of them turned to crime because they didn't have supervision of their families because they were too busy working. So we took them here at the center.
What's the most rewarding part about doing what you do?
Well, it's not really rewarding. It's I think it's the feeling of being in the community and being able to help where I can. And this is what I can do best, and so this is where I like to stay. But I think that some of the biggest rewards that we've had here are for the elders to come and ask us our opinions on things, which in the past I think would not have happened except through the work that we do here at the center.
The owner of this vehicle, I guess you are. Where do you live at?
Yesterday night.
What happened last night?
Yesterday night. Whole life home here.
你不要讲中国话，他讲英语采访。